It's can we start that over? Sorry about that. I jumped in the middle.
Go ahead, knock it out. Just talk.
Gotcha. 71 volunteers, and we got guys from all over the sorry. All right, now I got to get back into it. Gotcha. All right, so we have 71 volunteers, guys like Torrey Smith coming out. We got Jameel McClain, two former Ravens. We got Carl Davis, Arthur Brown, Jeremy Butler, some current Ravens coming out. And we have guys from the Lions coming out who are making the trip, 15 NFL players. Things like that are the things that really get me excited about this camp. It's something that we're doing and bringing, great role models to Baltimore, but it's just showing the support for the area and people trying to come back and do their best to help give kids put on a special day for the kids.
Brandon, what part of town were you from? I mean, I know you went to Gilman, but that doesn't say where you're from. What neighborhood you grew up in?
I'm from Owings Mills, Maryland originally, and then I actually moved out to Sykesville, Maryland, and then ended up commuting every day about 50 minutes to go to Gilman. So I'm actually from the Baltimore County area, but grew up and played down in the city of John Eager Howard and for the Baltimore Stars for AAU basketball and everything like that. I'm definitely happy to be able to come back and give the kids something to look forward to, and then also give them a bunch of positive role models.
Man, I see a guy like you, young guy. You're not that far off from being one of these kids, right? And
yeah.
I mean, tell me what was available to you. And I'm assuming when you were 12 or 13, you were a special athlete. You were the best player in whatever league you were in or whatever, because that's the way guys get to the NFL. That's the way the guys get to Gilman, quite frankly. It developed a hell of a program over there. But when you were 10, 11, 12, 13, was there any Ray Lewis camp kicking around that you had an opportunity to go out and say hello and meet a real football player and run around with some professionals?
Right. For me, I'm sure there were those camps available, but I guess nowadays with technology and social media and stuff, for me, I didn't. If there were, I'm sure there were those camps, but I wasn't aware of them. So for me, I'm excited to get kids up close and personal with some of these athletes. And now, you can look at a lens of someone's life through their Instagram and Facebook. So, a lot of these kids probably follow Torrey Smith online, but, it'll be awesome for them to be able to come out and get coached up by Torrey Smith and Jameel McClain and all these guys and myself, You
got Jameel coming, man. You got the top of the pops. If you got Jameel McClain, you got the king for me.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's a guy who my rookie year coming into Baltimore, he coached me up. So, I'm just very happy that, he's agreed to come out and help. And, as soon as I told him the date, he said, I'll definitely be there. And that's probably the more, humbling thing about this is that people have literally, I guess a lot of players and professional athletes talk about people coming from the woodworks asking for things. But as soon as I posted about this camp, and for me, it's my first time doing this, I had people coming from the woodworks offering their help. And that, that's the type of thing that people don't think about a lot or touch on a lot. And, there's a lot of people in Baltimore and outside of Baltimore that are coming in to help.
Well, somebody has to be a leader, right? I mean, a part of being a leadership role of doing all of this stuff is it's more than slapping your name on it. I mean, I've done a lot of charity stuff over 25 years. It takes like real people and like real money and real contributions and real generosity. And then, there's time, which is everybody's most valuable asset, right?
Yep.
I see you got all sorts of sponsors here, MedStar and USA Football, and you're doing this. Brandon Copeland's with us. He's from the Detroit Lions, but local guy, Gilman guy, had a cup of coffee with the Ravens a couple seasons ago as well. It is Saturday, July 9th. It's at Utz Twardowitz Field, as I would know it, on the east side over Patterson Park at Linwood Avenue. You can learn more about this at bcopeland.com. He's also out on Instagram at bcope51, as well as on Twitter at bcopelb. For you having never attended one of these as a kid, as far as running it and doing it and the things that go into it, what do you envision this becoming for, it says here, 7th to 11th graders, so I guess you're trying to get kids maybe 12 to 16 years of age, right?
Yeah. So, I've never been to participate in a camp myself, but Over the past few years, I've had the pleasure and opportunity to help out at a bunch of different camps. So, I helped out at Ray Lewis's camp my rookie year, going into my rookie year, and it was just, an overwhelming experience of the great day, the impact that he was making on the city of Baltimore. In Detroit, I've helped out at 4 camps in the past 3 weeks just to, one, help the city of Detroit, but then more importantly also like help me help Baltimore, and learn.
Well, when you see what's going right and what's going wrong
Exactly.
at the camps and what the kids are liking and what they're not right. I mean,
exactly.
It's life is like that, right? You learn that over at Gilman.
Right, exactly. You learning as you go, and learning on the fly. And for me, it's all getting the experience so that I can ultimately create the experience that I want to do for the kids. And I'm excited about a few things. I got a bunch of guys coming out, a bunch of my teammates from Penn and friends from Gilman and things like that. And I'm more excited. Obviously having 15 NFL players is amazing. I'm very thankful that we have the players coming out, but I'm very excited about the messages that I'm trying to portray to this older age group. A reason I chose the 7th through 11th grade age group is because these kids are at a very impressionable age where they can, to be frank about it, can literally make or break their lives right now. And I'm bringing out a bunch of positive role models that these kids can look up to. So, one of the things I'm really big on is using football as a means to an end and not the end all be all. And we have some guys who, one of my roommates from college, he just graduated from Penn Law School on May 16th. I have guys who are investment bankers, guys studying to be doctors coming out. And I'm really excited for the kids to get to know these guys. I'm having these kids, split up into groups so that they can get to know these guys.
Well, that's more real life than any of these kids really going to an NFL camp, right?
Exactly. And what I think, what I'm hoping will come from it is that the kids will leave the camp and having been coached up by Torrey Smith and myself and other guys and think, these guys were cool. These NFL guys, they were cool. They were, better than we ever expected they could have been. But you know what? I'm really glad I got to meet John, who's an investment banker for Morgan Stanley. And, I never thought that this guy would be such a down-to-earth individual. So, now if I'm not the next LeBron, let me go ahead and look into law school and what all that entails, and that's my biggest thing is I brought out a bunch of guys who are down-to-earth, humble guys that the kids can look at and look up to and see themselves in. And then hopefully, it gets them looking at other jobs outside of football. In case football doesn't work out, which, you always go for your dream, but,
it's NFL, man. Even when it does work out, it's not for long, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you know that. You've been around this long enough to know that. Brandon Copeland of the Detroit Lions, of Gilman, formerly of the Ravens, hosting a camp on July 11th. You can learn more about that on his website as well as on the Twitter and on the Instagram. How are things with the Lions for you? I mean, you're one of those guys trying to follow your dream and get yourself onto the field. In my parlance, I call it a fringe guy. I know you beg to differ with that, but you're playing your way in, and you just came from another camp out with the Lions and about to break camp in 4 or 5 weeks and using your downtime to run around with these kids in a couple of weeks. But you got a job to earn out there, don't you?
Exactly. And I would call it a fringe guy as well. So, for me, the day you start thinking that you've made the team in my position is the day you've been cut. So I've learned the hard way. I've sat out an entire season working out and training, hoping to get a call back and never receiving that call. So for me, I always treat every single day like this could potentially be my last day here. So what do I need to do on the field, and how hard do I need to play to earn the next day? And for me, I'm very excited I've actually switched from linebacker to defensive end, which for me is coming home. I've been a defensive end my entire life. My grandfather, he played 11 years in the NFL. He was a defensive end. So since I've been 4 or 5 years old, all the things that I've learned were defensive end. So I'm glad to come home and be able to use those techniques and stuff again. And, it's just going to be a fight. It's going to be a dogfight. There's a lot of competition out there. We have a new GM. And obviously, last year after last season, the urgency is at an all-time high, and I'm excited for it. Pressure busts pipes, but it also makes diamonds. So I'm excited to go out there and compete. Feeling real good and ready to to make some noise.
Brandon, I remember Roy Hilton now. So, my first year was 73 going to Colts games. I remember all that. And talk about being a defensive end. You putting on little pounds, not lbs like a linebacker, but
right.
They probably want you to beef up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So the six-pack I've always wanted is getting further and further away. But, they're putting on some pounds on me, and I've been put on about 15 pounds this entire off season, but I'd like to say it's all muscle.
I was going to ask if it's all muscle, but I was just assuming, bro.
Right. It's a little bit of Chipotle in there and everything like that. But
mine's all muscle too, underneath.
Exactly. So, but I've been my biggest thing, like I've told them, is last year I think I was successful and finally made the team, the 53-man roster for the first time because I had a unique mix of size and speed. Adding a 15-pound weight vest to me, I thought I'd be a little bit uncomfortable with that, but I've fortunately kept on my speed and gotten faster. I guess that's thanks to, my trainer, Troy Jones at TZ Sports, who will actually be out at the camp, bringing everything full circle, shameless plug again. He'll be out at the camp helping coach up the kids. He's teaching the kids some acceleration techniques and things like that on the day of my camp. But I'm happy to be 260 pounds right now and still be fast, if not faster, than I was last year at 245 pounds. So, it's just a work in progress. And like now, for me, I just want to tone it up, so I can look good on the beach. But other than that, you
need to be on the beach at Lake Michigan is where you need to be, I think. Brandon Copeland of the Detroit Lions joining us here, and Gilman and the University of Penn up in Philadelphia, although I won't hold that against you in Philly. A couple weeks ago, Jim Harbaugh came in from Michigan and hosted a camp, I'm assuming in the exact same spot that you're going to be having your camp over Patterson Park. And John Harbaugh the next day had to sort of defend his brother and, talked about it. And really, and John's gotten a lot better, and I know you played for John for a little while, has gotten better at communicating, especially in the offseason, and speaking his mind, and has become really kind of an outspoken guy in a way that I like because he wasn't always that way. And, he spoke about these kids coming to the camp and his brother and what it means. And, and the one thing he said that really resonated with me is, man, we had a couple of hundred kids out there. They're out there with NFL players. They're never going to play in the NFL. They might not even play at college or even a low-level college, but they're out there and they're creating a memory, and it's something good for them, and it's a day off the streets, and it's a day with positive reinforcement and a day about positive messages. And I think that, that sort of has rubbed off on you as well to say, on that field that you're doing on July 9th, how many of these kids are ever going to play football, but they're going to have a memory of that day and of doing it. Hey, man, I still drive by that field, bro, okay? And this is truth. Right. I drove through that park. I grew up near that park. I ice skated in that park. I've been to festivals in that park. My stepbrother took his first steps in that park. And I drove through there with my wife, and she didn't even know about the ice skating rink. And I drove through, and there's a little field to the right on the east side of it. And I said to my wife, that field is where I won the Tom McCann pitch, hit, and run when I was 10 years old in dress shoes. I wasn't even dressed in the right shoes, but I won. I had a little plaque, and I got to hit the ball at Memorial Stadium when I was a boy. And I said to her, that was the field that I won pitch, hit, and run on. And we're 36 years ago, right? But don't forget. And when John Harbaugh told me that, right, as a member of the media, I'm like, I can respond to that and understand that because when I was a little boy, the Orioles and the Colts didn't come out and run camps in the 70s. They just didn't,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if we can, that's the goal right there, exactly what you just said. If we can create that long-lasting memory, it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I think a lot of times people think you always have to give something, inordinate or extraordinary for someone to remember you and make an impact. But
dude, I remember every girl that ever smiled at me, and that was free, right? Right? Exactly. It doesn't cost anything, right?
Exactly. So, for us, it's just creating a conversation. I mean, fortunately, because of the amazing sponsors we have, we actually will have a lot of giveaways. Like my basement is full of stuff right now with Under Armour and shirts and body armor and Lokai bracelets and Stride Line socks, United Soul apparel, things like that. But we will have a great, amazing giveaways, and that's, awesome. But for us, the things that you're going to really remember, like you said, 50 years from now or whenever, it's just the conversation that you had with somebody.
36 years, not 50. Come on, dog. Come on.
I didn't want to add it.
Don't insult the host when you come on the show. Come on.
But those are the type of things, the conversations, the drills, things like that. Catching a pass from Torrey Smith, that's the type of things that these kids are going to remember. And hopefully the messages that we give to them will make an impact as well. So.
Well, I tell you what, 14 years from now, I'm hoping to still be here, and I still will remember my Tom the Can, which was a shoe store, by the way, and I didn't have the right shoes on to win the pitch, hit, and run. Hey, I hope you have a great day. I hope the sun is shining, and it's a nice, 76, 78-degree low humidity day. It is Saturday, July 9th, 8:30 registration. The camp's 9 till noon. 7th graders to 11th graders. You can get all the information up at the website as well as anywhere you can find Brandon Copeland. BCope51 out on Instagram as well. Dude, it's great having you on. Good luck with the Lions. We're rooting for you. You know, as a local kid, and don't be a stranger around here. I'll darken your doorstep even when you're not promoting this stuff, and we'll talk some football as the years go by here.
Awesome. I can't wait. Love to. Thank you so much.
Good luck, man. Go make that football team. All right.
Sounds good.
Honolulu Blue for you, all right?
Definitely. Take care.
See you later. Brandon Copeland, find him out on Twitter at BCopeLB, as well as on Instagram, BCope51. The event is July the 9th. There's a whole website set up. You can register online. It's all there for you. All good. So there you have it. Local kid doing good stuff July 9th. If you got some kids of that age or around you, some kids of that age that play some football, send them over to Patterson Park, and we'll pay it forward as well. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear. The morning newspaper, 7 a.m. It hits your email inbox free of charge, and that is powered up by our friends at Planet Fitness. Every morning that comes to you, it's free, it's easy, and the tech service is there 24 hours a day for any breaking news. And the Orioles are sending guys up and down. Hopefully there's no breaking news on the Ravens, except good things, we hope. It's all brought to you by our friends at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 at WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.